When we welcome a dog into our family, we imagine years of wagging tails, soft paws tapping across the floor, and loyal eyes that greet us every morning. Some dogs stay by our side for 10 years, some for 15, and the lucky ones may even make it close to 20. But no matter how many birthdays we get to celebrate with them, one day, that goodbye does come. Many people carry the same quiet worry in their hearts. Will I notice when it's time? Will I see the little signs my dog tries to show me when they're ready to rest? The hardest part of losing a dog isn't just the empty bed or the silent house. It's wondering if we did enough to comfort them in those final moments. That's why today, I want to share 10 gentle signals that many dogs give us when the end is near, so you can be ready to stand by them the same way they've stood by you for so long. Along the way, I'll tell you stories from people who've walked this same road, proof that you're not alone in this grief and that love can stay with us even after a faithful friend is gone. So take a breath, hold your old friend close tonight, and as we walk through these signs one by one, remember, each small change is their quiet way of saying, "Be here with me just a little longer." Now, let's begin with the first sign you may notice, when your dog's steps begin to slow and falter. The first sign you might notice is that your dog's legs just don't move like they used to. Maybe one morning, you see them slip on the kitchen floor where they never did before. Or you hear their nails scrape as they try to stand, but lose their balance halfway up. Some dogs start to walk in circles, almost as if they're chasing a memory that keeps slipping away. It's not clumsiness. It's a gentle signal that their muscles, nerves, and mind are growing tired. Studies show that when a dog reaches its final years, their walking speed can drop by more than half, just like an aging person who shuffles where they once ran. It's hard to see them stumble when they once chased balls across the yard without fear. But instead of feeling helpless, we can soften the floor with rugs, block off stairs, and be their steady guide when their paws can't do it alone. Helping them stay on their feet isn't about forcing them to keep moving. It's about giving them the safety and comfort they've always given us. And while you're watching their steps, listen closely too, because the next quiet change happens deep inside, when their body starts to lose the warmth that once kept them safe through every season. As a dog grows older, their body's natural thermostat begins to slip out of tune. You might notice they shiver more on chilly mornings or pant heavily on days that never seemed too warm before. Inside, the hormones and muscles that help control their temperature don't respond the way they once did. A bed that used to be comfortable might feel too cold now, or too hot by afternoon. This gentle struggle is one reason older dogs often seek out warm sunbeams or cool, shady spots. They're trying to tell you they need help finding balance. Instead of brushing it off as just old age, give them extra blankets when winter creeps in. Place their bed away from drafts, and if the summer heat feels too heavy, keep their water fresh and cool, and make sure a fan or air conditioning is within reach. Helping them stay warm or cool enough is one of the simplest but most loving gifts we can offer. And as their warmth fades, there's another sign you might see right alongside it. The bowl stays full, because their appetite starts to fade too. When a dog's appetite begins to slip away, it's often one of the clearest signs that their body is getting tired. Maybe they sniff the food, but walk away. Or they chew only a bite or two before turning their head. Sometimes it's not because they don't want to eat. It's because pain makes it hard to chew. Or because their senses of smell and taste have faded with age. You might warm up their food to make the aroma stronger, or offer soft, easy-to-swallow meals. Some families add a bit of broth or gentle seasonings. just enough to tempt their old friend to take one more bite. But it's important to remember what so many hospice nurses remind us. When the end is near, forcing food can do more harm than good. A dog who refuses to eat is telling you something. They're slowly letting go. Talk with your vet about ways to keep them comfortable, but hold compassion higher than calories. And when the food bowl stays untouched, the water dish often does too. The next quiet sign is when their thirst begins to fade just the same. Alongside a fading appetite, you may see your dog's water bowl sit untouched longer than ever before. A healthy dog naturally knows when to drink, but as their organs age, especially the kidneys and brain, the signal to feel thirsty often grows weak or disappears altogether. What once was a happy slurp after a walk can turn into a gentle refusal, even on a warm day. Without enough water, the body struggles to flush toxins, the organs grow tired faster, and dehydration sets in quietly. Some families try offering water by hand, or mixing it into soft foods to help their old friend get just a bit more. But just like with food, it's not always about pushing more in, it's about listening to what they're telling you. Sometimes a gentle sip is all they want, and that's enough. If you notice their tongue dry or gums sticky, check with your vet about ways to ease this final stretch. And as their thirst fades, you may see another change in the mirror of their body. The weight that once filled out their frame starts to melt away. When you run your hand along your dog's back and feel bones where there used to be muscle and warmth, it can feel like a quiet alarm ringing inside your heart. Rapid weight loss is one of the clearest signs that your dog's body is no longer absorbing what it needs, no matter how much you try to offer. Muscles shrink, the belly hollows out, and sometimes you see their ribs in places you never did before. It's not just the food or water, it's that their aging organs can't hold on to the good things like they once did. Some families choose to blend soft, nourishing foods or add gentle supplements, hoping to slow the weight loss just a little. And that's okay, as long as you remember that sometimes the kindest choice is to accept what nature is telling you. Force feeding can cause more discomfort than comfort at this stage. Instead, keep their favorite spots cozy, offer small bites if they want them, and hold them close when they feel small in your arms. And as their body grows lighter, so does their energy. The next thing you may see is that deep, familiar spark for play and movement starts to fade too. When your dog starts to sleep through moments that used to excite them, the rattle of the leash, the creak of the treat jar, the soft call of their name. It's often their way of telling you their body needs more rest than ever before. They may curl up in one spot for hours, barely shifting except for a slow breath or a quiet sigh. Sometimes they just don't have the energy to get up, even when they want to. It can feel strange at first, this stillness, when you're used to a wagging tail always at your heel. But this long sleep is not laziness. It's the body's final way of saving what little strength remains. To help them, make sure their bed is soft. Change their position gently so they don't develop sores, and offer a warm touch when they stir. A soft massage, a quiet word, a hand resting on their side. These small comforts remind them they're not alone, even in their deepest rest. And as they spend more time lying still, you may notice another gentle change that shows they're losing the fight to control what used to come so naturally. One of the hardest things for many families to see is when their loyal friend can no longer control when or where they go to the bathroom. A dog that always waited by the door or scratched to be let out may suddenly have accidents right where they sleep. It's not stubbornness or a lack of care. It's simply that their muscles have grown too weak to hold it in. And sometimes they're just too tired to stand up and move to their usual spot. It can feel messy and even heartbreaking. But remember, they're not doing this on purpose. In these moments, your gentle care matters more than ever. Soft bedding, absorbent pads, and warm, damp cloths help keep their fur clean and their skin free from sores. Speak to them softly as you help, so they know they're still loved and safe. And when the body begins to lose control like this, it often means other systems are struggling too. Sometimes this weakness can lead to moments when the body shakes and trembles in ways we wish we could stop, a sign that brings us to the next farewell moment. Sometimes, near the very end, a dog's body may tremble in ways that can be frightening to witness. Seizures can happen when the kidneys or liver are failing, or when the brain simply can't keep its balance anymore. A dog that once lay so still and calm might suddenly jerk or twitch, their eyes distant, their breathing rough. For many families, this is one of the hardest moments, because it feels like you can't do anything but watch. But you can still help. Keep the room quiet and calm. Make sure they can't hurt themselves if they thrash, and speak to them softly, reminding them they're not alone. Talk with your vet about gentle medication if needed, but also know this truth. Sometimes the greatest kindness we can offer is helping them leave their pain behind when suffering outweighs comfort. Many families choose this path with love in their hearts, not because they're giving up, but because they're giving peace. And when the tremors quiet down, there's often one more change you'll notice. Their breath no longer flows as steady and strong as it used to. When the end draws closer, you may hear it before you see it. The sound of your dog's breathing changing in ways that feel unfamiliar. Some dogs start to breathe with their mouths wide open, panting heavily, even when they haven't moved an inch. Others may have long pauses between breaths, as if their body is deciding whether to take another one. These changes can come and go, sometimes for hours or days, and they're often a sign that the heart and lungs are growing too tired to keep up. It can be unsettling, listening to each breath, wondering if it will be the last. In these moments, your quiet presence can mean everything. Sit close, rest a gentle hand on their side, and let them feel your calm when their body feels out of control. If they seem uncomfortable, talk to your vet about gentle pain relief. Sometimes a small dose of comfort brings them more peace than we realize. And while their breathing may fade in and out, you might notice one last tender sign before goodbye. A change in the way they look at you, or perhaps a sudden clinging to your side, as if they're trying to say one final thing. One of the quietest but most touching signs happens not in the body, but in the bond between you and your dog. Some dogs pull away near the end. They hide under a favorite tree in the yard, or find a quiet corner where they can be alone. Others do the opposite, pressing closer than ever, following you from room to room, leaning their head against your knee as if they don't want a single moment apart. Both are ways of saying the same thing. I'm tired. I'm ready. Just stay with me. Sometimes this shift happens because their mind is slipping too. Older dogs can develop a kind of dementia, forgetting familiar sounds or faces for a moment. If they seem distant, don't take it to heart. Their love for you hasn't gone. It's just resting in a quieter part of them now. Be near. Speak softly. Hold their paw if they want it. And when all these signs gather together, they're not just warnings of an ending. They're reminders to hold on tight. Because every goodbye is made of all the days you loved them well. If you've made it here, I know you're the kind of person who sees a dog not just as a pet, but as family. A friend who has waited at the door for you, curled up by your feet on quiet nights, and stood by your side through seasons of joy and loss alike. Watching them grow old is never easy, But knowing these signs can help you do the one thing they've always done for you. Stay close, all the way to the very end. Maybe your dog is still young and full of life. If so, hold them close tonight and whisper a thank you for every tail wag yet to come. And if you've already walked this path of goodbye, I hope you know you're not alone in that ache that sometimes still wakes you up at night. Some people say that when our dogs visit us in dreams, it's their way of saying they're okay, and that they never really left us at all. If this video brought you even a small bit of comfort, I'd love for you to share your story in the comments below. Tell us about your good boy or good girl, what made them special, and what you still carry in your heart. By sharing, we remind each other that grief is softer when we hold it together. And if you know someone who needs these words, pass them on, because no one should ever have to say goodbye alone.